Ontario has confirmed 42 new cases, bringing the total number of cases in the province to 145. This comes after officials reported 24 new cases yesterday. Of all the 42 cases, there are 14 in Toronto, 5 in Peel, 5 in Ottawa, 3 in Hamilton, 3 in York Region, 2 in Waterloo, 2 in Durham, 2 in Simcoe Muskoka, 1 in Niagara, 1 in Haliburton, Kawartha, Pinnerage, 2 in Grey Bruce, and 1 in Petersburg. One of the 42 cases is still pending. Another one is in self-isolation after returning from Egypt.
Joining us now from Montreal is the Minister of Economic Development and Official Languages, Melanie Joly. She's also part of the government's incident response group. Minister, thanks so much for being with us. First of all, let's get started. We're seeing many countries in Europe closing their borders and severely restricting movement. France is closing restaurants. Austria is limiting gatherings of more than 5 people. Why aren't we taking such measures?
I think first and foremost, I must say that I'm proud of all Canadians right now, because Canadians are at their best when they're pulling each other together. And that's exactly what we need right now. Now, as for the government and to your question, we're taking all the best advice from our public health officials. And we've been following really the advice of Dr. Tam, our Chief Public Health Officer, and we've been moving in the right direction while also supporting provinces and territories, which all have their own ways of making sure that we can protect Canadian lives and also Canadian jobs.
At the same time, the Foreign Affairs Minister, François-Philippe Champagne, is telling all Canadians abroad to come back home. So if you're not going to be closing the border, then why is your government asking everybody to return now?
Well, we know that many countries are going into quarantine mode. So it's really how Canadians can assess their own risks of being in a country which may be in quarantine. And so that's why we've been showing that to Canadians first that if they're leaving, well, there's an advice right now that non-essential travel in the U.S. and in all around the world is not necessarily the right thing to do. The second thing is, yes, we came up with this advice yesterday to make sure that Canadians that want to have access to a good public health service, because we are a country with a public health system, can and should be coming back home.
Is it also so that you don't face that pressure to go get Canadians, to repatriate them if they are stuck in another country?
Well, obviously all measures are being taken right now, but all measures are also looked into as to how we can really protect Canadians' health. This is our main focus. And as the Minister also of Economic Development, I must say that making sure that we're taking the right steps to protect as much as possible Canadian jobs while the economy is being affected by the spread of this virus is also very, very important. We're in a mode as a government to make sure that all the resources are taken to protect our citizens.
Now, in that vein, late last week, your government announced another $11 billion to mitigate the impact of COVID-19. That pushes the total spending to over $12 billion. Now, premiers are saying they need more. Is there a ceiling of how far your government will go or can go?
There are 3 things. First of all, the Bank of Canada lowered its key indicator by 1% within a week and a half. So that was one of the first measures that was taken. The second one was earlier this week, $1 billion was announced to make sure that we could support more provinces and territories as they're dealing with their own healthcare systems. And at the same time, we're putting more money in research. And also we're moving in the right direction to make sure that EI is much more available for people that get a treatment from doctors, which obviously have COVID-19 or are showing symptoms. And finally, what was really important on Friday was the fact that we're announcing that there will be liquidities for banks and obviously for businesses to make sure at the end of the day that businesses can go through this very tough period. Now, other measures are on the go, making sure that we're working to react in a timely fashion to what's going on in the economy. And obviously, we've been working hard with the Minister of Finance on different measures, and we'll be announcing them in due time.